Gas prices are up. You've probably noticed that before I did, and it's not just because we're moving into the summer. AAA reporting a regular gallon of gas is up 60 cents from this time last year. Politico's Ben White writing on the political ramifications. The increased cost of fuel is already wiping out a big chunk of the benefit Americans received from the GOP tax cuts. And things could get worse as summer approaches following the administration's standoff with Iran and a move by oil-producing nations to tighten supplies. So what's going on here? Joining me now, Michael Singleton, a Republican political consultant. He worked on 3 presidential campaigns, and Michael Starr Hopkins, he's a Democratic strategist and Huffington Post contributor. Good to see you both.
Hi, Ed. Thanks for having
us. Sure, Michael, I want to start with you. For Republicans, does this put them a little bit on defense ahead of the midterms? We heard so much about how the tax cuts are going to be a great boon to Republican candidates heading into November. Now, all of a sudden, if Americans spend the summer going to the gas pump, on the way to the beach or the picnic, and gas prices are high, that seems like a political problem.
Well, not only the summer, but think about the upcoming fall and winter. I am concerned about this. Every economist, for the most part, across the board, all the studies, I should say, indicate that consumer spending is up across the board. What that means is that the tax break is working. It means that people are seeing more money in their accounts. They're seeing their 401ks increase. They're seeing their investments do a lot better than what they did several years ago. But when you think about the increase in gas prices, if you're a family of 4 and you would like to take a vacation this summer, you're going to think about how much money that trip is going to cost if you're going to be driving. If you're ordering packages, et cetera, you just think about how this impacts individuals across the board. And I think Republicans do have to consider how much of an impact this is going to have going into midterms if our sole argument is that giving Americans tax breaks will benefit them in the long run. I think it's really difficult to articulate that message when you look at the rising prices of gas.
So, Michael, there's some honest talk there, some straight talk there from your Republican colleague about how there could be some challenges for them. On the other hand, I'm looking at this New York Times headline today that says, among other things, Democrats go all out to avoid disaster in California House because there are 3 or 4 House seats that Democrats thought were going to be slam dunks for them. And all of a sudden, maybe the Republicans are going to hold on to those seats, and maybe this blue wave is not going to be what a lot of people thought it would be.
You know, I think Democrats have a good chance to recapture the House, but I think Democrats do have a problem with messaging. The tax bill has been popular, but also we've seen lower middle class people not receive some of the benefits they expected. And so it's produced a mixed message for Democrats because on one end, there are critiques that need to be made about the tax bill. But on the other part, when you look at Speaker Pelosi and some of the comments she's made about crumbs, they've been really hurtful for Democrats.
Yeah,
so a measured approach is needed.
Michael, I'm
well,
glad
Ed, if I could,
yeah, go ahead. Real quick, go ahead. And then
I was going to say really quickly, the Democrats don't have a message, right? For the most part, their entire message has been replace Donald Trump. We have to, get rid of him. He's doing a horrible job. Look, Americans may disagree with certain aspects of President Trump's presidency. Heck, I disagree with certain aspects of his presidency. But as it relates to policy, Ed, you look across the board, and I will give credit to the president. We are seeing success, whether that's foreign policy, whether that's domestically. You start talking about welfare issues that the president has mentioned. We're going to do welfare reform. You talk about infrastructure. The president has talked about those things as well. There is success that you can clearly point to.
So on that point, Michael, you've got the possibility, Democrats were laughing at the president 48 hours ago that this North Korean summit was falling apart. Now all of a sudden North Korea looks like it's on bended knee, and maybe there will be peace talks after all. You've got unemployment at historic lows, not just across the board, but for Hispanics, for African Americans. And so my question to you is, what part of peace and prosperity do Democrats not like?
Well, it's not an issue of not liking peace and prosperity. We absolutely support that. But what we want is equality and economic stability for all. And I think we've seen Andrew Gillum here in Florida and Stacey Abrams in Georgia be able to articulate that message and bring together factions that we haven't seen come together since Barack Obama in 2008. And I think if Democrats can continue to push a message that brings together Democrats, Republicans, and independents, then it's going to be a great 2018 for Democrats.
I disagree with economic success for all. I mean, I think if you look at let's look at this locally. If you look at certain congressional districts across this country, particularly those that are heavily minority, you look at the lack of economic mobility, you look at the educational opportunities, you look at the lack of entrepreneurial opportunities. So when you talk about Democrats being this party that wants economic success and mobility for all people, I have to push back against that because all indicators don't show that that's the case.
And in fact, Michael, I'll let you make the last point, but Wall Street Journal has a thing today that basically talks about tax revenues soaring soaring in some Democratic states like New York, Connecticut, California. You see the numbers there. Unexpectedly, these blue states, because of what the president did, there were some taxes going up in those states, so the revenue's going up, but also because corporate profits are soaring right now. And we've heard Democrats say,
absolutely,
oh, they're just going to put it in their pocket. Well, no, they're actually helping out Jerry Brown in California. He's helping deal with budget deficits because corporations are actually paying some more in taxes in some of these states because the economy is so good.
Well, I agree with you on that point. I'd say if you are in a position where you can invest in the stock market, where you can buy real estate, then you are in a good position. But that's not a lot of Americans. And what we're seeing is basically a corporate bailout if you're big pharma, if you're big oil, if you're in banking. Those industries have seen huge returns.
Well, some of those workers, pardon me, have gotten bonuses,
buybacks.
right? I know we can argue about whether the bonuses really help, but I've got 15 seconds.
Yeah.
A lot of average workers have gotten bonuses from these companies.
They have, but
Absolutely.
they've seen their costs go up, their health care costs go up, their gas costs go
That's
up.
because of Democrats, though. You guys passed the Affordable Care Act. I mean, come on. That's not a fair argument.
Well, a moment ago,
you got every chamber of government right now.
A moment ago, we had you guys agreeing. Now, all of a sudden, you're disagreeing again. That's all right. Thanks for coming in on this
Thanks so
holiday
much,
weekend.
Ed.
Democracy.
All right. Take care, guys.
Thanks.